My name is Kevin Kleeman Wright. I am the Managing Director here at Klein Karoo Seeds Trial Farm in Chisamba, Nagwaza Farm. And we purchased this property in 1997 as a bare piece of ground, so 40 hectares of arable land, which we use mostly for experimentation. And we also run cattle and we make silage and all other farming enterprises. Last year, fall armyworm caught us really by surprise. We had in the previous year, 2016, we had a little bit of notification that armyworm was coming. We had a little bit of damage, but in the 2017-2018 cropping cycle, it was absolutely devastating. On this small property, we probably experienced a 60 to 70% loss on our maize crop, and that was purely down to fall armyworm. So if we go on the Fortenza Duo seed treatment, it's made an incredible impact on what we've seen between last year and this year. So in the block that's behind me here, this is a variety 501, which is an early maturing, which is a very popular variety with emerging and small scale farmers. And we chose this one to plant this year because it's an early maturing variety, and it's also a very popular variety that's out in the field. So what we're seeing on the farm can also then be translated to what we are seeing at a village-based level, at the emerging farmer level. So what we found is that depending not so much on the weeks, but more on the size of the plant. Some of this crop was planted in middle of December. At that time we had a lot of sunshine days. So we found that in this block behind me we got a full 3 weeks worth of cover from the Fortenza treated seed crop. On the field that's a bit further back was planted a few days later, and that gave us a little bit longer. It gave us 3.5 weeks, for the simple fact that when it was in its growth stage it had a few overcast days, so its growth in the beginning was a little bit slower. What we did find was when we planted the crop, we did find that there was mature worms already in the grass crop that was adjacent to the field crop, and we found that those mature worms were migrating from the grass into the field crop. And with all the seed that was treated with Fortenza, although there was some initial damage, especially at the 3 and 4 day stage, the moment that some leaf material was ingested, by the 3rd and 4th day we were starting to find dead worms lying in the field. So it was very, very definitely effective. Planting is always a very busy time, and all planting on a farm is not done in one day, which means that you're going to have to split your resources if you're going to combat fall armyworm with a traditional spray program. By using Fortenza Duo, this gives you a 3 or 4 week window in which you can complete your planting and get on with other farming jobs without having to come onto a spray program. Because what we're finding is that basically from day 3 or 4, a farmer needs to start a traditional spray program, which is drawing tractor resources and labor resources away from his primary goal, and that is to get his crop planted. So what we have found is that on a weighted average, if you look at the cost per hectare of spraying versus the cost per hectare of seed treating, on a commercial level, it's a lot cheaper. You're probably going to save between $15 and $20 per hectare on your initial startup costs by purchasing seed that has already been treated with Fortenza. The major difference that you notice that happens when you've planted, especially if you've planted crops side by side, you'll notice that from emergence, so from day 1, 2, and 3, once you see that leaf coming out, while on day 1, 2, and 3, you will see that the damage will be about the same, especially if there's already infestation in a grass crop next door and there's adults that are migrating across. From day 4 and 5, you'll notice that as it grows out, that all the new leaves along the collars of the leaf, which is this area here on the collar, you will notice that there will be very little to no damage on the treated side, whereas you'll still see high levels of damage on the untreated side. So basically from the time that emerges, it is already covered. So it is extremely impressive in that regard.